Back. Come on back. Crack open a cold one. This is one of my favorite parts of the show. We're one of the only shows on television. You're watching Liquid Lunch on Biz TV. We're talking about small businesses all the time, especially now in this craze. But every day we bring on a Democrat and a Republican. I throw out the topics of the day. I just throw them out there, okay? And then here's why it's my favorite. I mix up a drink. I got my little martini right here. And David Eisenbach and John Burnett mix it up on the news of the day. John Burnett, Managing Director, One Empire Group. David Eisenbach, Professor at Columbia University. David ran for New York City Public Advocate. John ran for Comptroller. And guys, the first thing that's on my mind, I'm part of a group that's standing behind a local business owner who's defying the mayor's order. And he's going to open his tanning salon tomorrow. And there's people, hundreds of people coming out of the woodwork saying they want to come out and stand with the guy and support him. It seems like the pot is boiling over right now. Why is it, but I'll go to you first, Johnny, the capitalist. Why is it that they're locking down small businesses? And why is it that big box retailers can operate, but small business owners aren't smart enough to operate safely? Why is this?
Yeah, it's really ridiculous. When you look at it, you know, they predicted, 5 times, 10 times the amount of deaths. You know, any death is not tolerable, but, the predictions did not come to pass, right? So there's no justification to allow big box stores where people congregate in large numbers, passing each other in the aisles, touching things, putting things back on the shelf for a couple of hours. Look, we need to open up small business. We know that small business empowers America in terms of jobs and local economies. We can't just surrender our livelihoods, our way of life to big box stores. That's giving them more control. We need to make sure that everyone survives, both small and big. And when you look at it, when I go to my local coffee shop, they have the gloves, they have the mask, they put up the glass. Small businesses know how to survive, right? And they also know that if they don't actually show that they're protecting the interest and the health of the general public, they won't be patronized, right? So we should allow them to flourish with some guidelines and some safety checks, but not shut them down. In a tanning salon, if anything, anyone goes to a tanning salon, the lights and the rays, that would actually kill viruses.
Yeah, well, no, I don't want to get into suggesting the benefits of ultraviolet light, but Dave, what do you think? I mean, we got to get back to work, if you ask me.
Well, Bill de Blasio is the most anti-small business mayor in the history of the city of New York.
You know what that is. We ring the bell.
When I ran for public advocate in 2017, I was an anti-Bill de Blasio Democrat because he was so bad on the small business issue. The fact of the matter is that the politicians don't care about small businesses because the small businesses don't write them checks. Democrat or Republican, you get your checks from the real estate industry, you get your checks from the banks. You don't care about small business.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree with you.
But they pay the taxes, though.
Yeah,
so they do give checks in the form of taxation. If small businesses aren't generating profits, that's no tax revenue.
Small businesses built New York City. But our politicians these days, Democrat and Republican, have turned their backs on small businesses.
Hey, John, let me push back not push back, but I agree with you, David. But here's the situation, right? If we don't get small businesses back in business, that is going to hurt commercial real estate. There's already a big threat with respect to large companies getting used to employees working from home, showing the need that, I don't need all the square footage in Midtown Manhattan, right? So if you have them taking advantage of remote work conditions and operations over the next several years, and you crush small business, we can only raise property taxes so high.
That's right. Yeah,
there's no question.
I've been making for years, but you'll notice that with all the bailouts and handouts that have gone down, not a single politician has been talking about a rent freeze or a rent holiday for small businesses, right? They won't touch that.
Without question. I'll tell you firsthand, guys, you've been to the studio, Liquid Lunch studio at 350 Broadway. We were on a shorter term lease, and we were right in the middle of negotiating a longer term lease. And believe me when I tell you, The landlord is quite nice. He's calling me every day, Morty. He's a solid gold guy. Come on back, please. Take the place. Take it, will you, please? You know, and I think
they see the handwriting on the wall.
no, listen, I want to be back there as soon as I possibly can. But I think other people are re-examining their brick and mortar footprint, and I think commercial real estate owners have big problems on their hands. I want to get to two other topics, guys. One continues to me to be a big problem. We talked about it a little last week, right after it, Charlemagne the God and Joe Biden interview, and I guess that was the day that Joe Biden said, if you can't decide if you're with me or Trump, then you ain't black. So, John, welcome. I mean, I apparently you're not black, according to Joe Biden. How does
I tweeted out last week, Joe Biden, hashtag you ain't black, hashtag you ain't white, hashtag you ain't Hispanic, hashtag you ain't Asian, me, you ain't winning, right? Because he's playing the race card, right? What an insult to Black America. But Charlemagne is actually saying, look, you just can't try to scare the black vote with certain statements regarding voting for Trump and things of that nature. You got to play offense. In politics, you have to play defense and offense. What Democrats have done with the black vote is use scare tactics, right? But they've never placed anything on the table that's material. And it's especially important for the author of the 94 crime bill and so many other pieces of legislation that has decimated the black community and destroyed the black family and destroyed the black community. So he has to say more than, if you don't vote for me, then you ain't black. He has to come with an agenda. But we're business people on this show, right? The thing is, you can have great plans, but do you have the will and the ability to execute?
One of our social media followers just put a comment in saying that Joe Biden has dementia. And I almost think they're trying to pass this thing off as a joke. But if you're running, I mean, the black vote saved his life in South Carolina and on, his political life. And to come out now and say, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. But to that point, it's kind of like everything you don't want to do is categorize a whole group of people and say, you must be with me. It really, Dave, I don't know. To me, it feels like you basically eliminated the individuality of it.
And part of his problem is he doesn't really have a campaign that is offering anything in terms of policy. So it's not like he could present a policy to get this story out of the news, right? Where is he? He's hiding in his basement somewhere in Delaware, and nothing is going on with that campaign. So they don't have anything to replace this news story in the 24-hour news cycle.
So let me ask you guys, when we're in the studio, we usually have a little tune-up. Today I got a lot of stuff I'm covering, so I'm having a martini. You guys have anything, or you showed up to the Liquid Lunch Saloon empty?
I got the coffee, as usual.
I was going to say, David has the mystery cup. We never know what's in that coffee cup, but he's a stellar guest. Guys, unfortunately, staying on, what happens in race relations in this country. Yesterday, I guess this all over the place, 4 white cops have a guy, he resists arrest. Okay, we all know you shouldn't resist arrest. They throw him down, they got him down. There's a 9-minute tape out there of this cop basically suffocating the guy with his knee on his neck. And you can audibly hear the guy saying, I cannot breathe. It stinks that these always get caught on tape, or it's good that they get caught on tape because the bad apples are what causes the bad relations with the NYPD. Dave, maybe they took the right case here. They fired the guys immediately. To me, they should get tried. At least one of them should get tried for murder and let a jury decide.
That's right. They got fired immediately. And the officer who killed Eric Gardner, Palatano, he should have been fired immediately. This cannot be tolerated on the force, right? We accept in our society there are bad politicians, there are bad priests, there are bad teachers. We can accept that there are bad Apple cops and they have no business policing the streets.
Johnny, final word. We got 30 seconds.
We know that tasers don't always work, but there are several other tactics that are available to police to use instead of using certain tactics that, as we've seen in several instances, lead to fatalities.
Yep.
So there has to be not only training, but there has to be internal level of accountability, not just external, but the police holding other police accountable. Because we know that the majority of police are good people
No
and
doubt.
they do a good job, but it's important for them within their own culture to hold their own accountable.
And I got to say,
100%.
I got to say, if you hear somebody say, I can't breathe,
That's
the
it.
immediate
To me, you got enough. You got the guy prone. You got him handcuffed. We got to leave it there. Two of the best of them, the A team, as far as I'm concerned, mixing it up. John Burnett, David Eisenbach, Democrat, Republican. They slug it out on the news of the day. I slugged down a cold one.